My video for January the 17th, 2018 is The Dark Agenda, Using Religion. Do you really think it makes sense that the Creator God would create several religions, each claiming to be the correct one? I saw through that trap early in life. And since then, I have done my best to build bridges and expose walls of separation that only serve a dark agenda. No matter what the religion, if it claims to be the only right one, it is fostering division, not love. While I have not made as much of a study into others, I did spend my early life exploring Christianity in depth. Even though he was not the only one said to be the Son of God, Jesus did emphasize one very important truth tenet. By this shall men know that you are my disciple, if you love one another. As I've said in many other videos, he made it clear that his disciples were not part of some exclusive club. On the contrary, he challenged us to even love our enemies, saying he had other followers that were not part of that particular group. How do we miss this? Why can we not see that it does not foster peace when each goes around debunking other groups? I pray that we wake up soon, whatever it may take for that to happen. I noticed as I read the date that this is the anniversary date of my parents' wedding, and I was conceived 4 days later, as I've said in other videos. So happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, wherever you are. Anyway, folks, as I also said in the blurb, I was raised reading the Bible and learning the stories from the Bible. Of course, that encompasses both Judaism and Christianity, because the Old and the New Testament were part of that belief system that I had, that both were ordained by God, and that the Old Testament was just a precursor to the New Testament. So Judaism and Christianity were bound in my early upbringing. But once I reached my teenage years, I began to see the strangeness of people saying, well, that group, even though they also claim to be Christian, isn't really a Christian group. And being warned by the clergy, the minister in my church, to not read that stuff. And that was the Plain Truth magazine by Herbert W. Armstrong, which was the beginning of opening me up. I don't know how old I was, maybe, 14, 15, something like that. In any case, I went on to study various other Christian faiths early on, and then as I got a little bit older, began to explore a little bit of Buddhism and Hinduism, and of course Islam. And as I've said before, when I had my meetings in my home, I even invited the imam to come and speak on a number of occasions in my home, in my discussion group and discovery group. And I got a lot of flack even among so-called metaphysicians for allowing terrorists into my house, because they bought the propaganda. And we've all bought propaganda that says that we're the ones, our viewpoint is the one that's right. And anytime you come across that, if you had any kind of discernment at all, you'd know that there's something wrong with that picture. you know, Aboriginals and certain native tribes that were in the United States when the Europeans came over here were peace-loving people. They do not seem to have had that idea. In fact, the early so-called Indians from the northeastern part of the United States were instrumental in influencing the Declaration of Independence, according to some of the things that I've read, and especially the Constitution and religious freedom. You know, the Bill of Rights. They were instrumental in that. Of course, there were other tribes also that were more warlike and wanted to kill those that were different, of a different culture, a different tribe, a different belief system. The insanity has been mixed in the human experience from the very beginning. It goes back a long, long, long time that there has been dissent sown in the human experience that gives us the idea that we're the only ones. They killed many Native Americans when the Europeans came over here. They killed them. They gave them blankets laced with smallpox, and wiped out thousands and thousands of people because of the idea that we're the special ones, we're the right ones. What if we're all special, folks? What if we're all right when we love one another, when we foster harmony rather than dissent? What if that's the right way? I believe it is. I believe it always has been. But there seems to be a dark agenda that uses religion to separate us from each other and to pit us against one another and to say we're the ones that are right. Now we see that in our more modern era with Islam. And Islam was split between the Sufism and I don't even remember what the other one's called. The Sufism was a good religion. I mean, I have read the Sufis, you know, Hafiz, and I forgot the other name too. I hate it when that happens. But anyway, there are people in every religion that are people of the heart. And then there are people who are people of the mind, who divorce the heart from the spiritual or from the religious experience. And when that happens, you create cruelty, you create war, you create dissension. You do not create peace. As long as you think that you're the only one that's right, you're wrong. And it doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else. Being the only one that's right is to love and to accept others and to listen to one another and to find the good, find the common ground, not where we're different, but where we can build on our common human experience of being here on the same planet at the same time and creating peace and harmony rather than dissension and war following war following war. When are you going to understand? You, me, all of us. When will we understand that those who promote dissension make money and profit from war? It's always been that way, folks. It's always been that way. It's about control to the demonic element. And the demonic element exists. And for those that have an open mind and are willing to look, we can see how the elite are horrendous pedophiles and other crimes against life itself and against humanity. We need to see that. And if they can be rescued, so be it. I'd like that. But if they can't, they need to be taken out. Anyway, that's my video for today, and thank you for listening. Namaste.